Hello and welcome to Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves. On today's show, we're going to be speaking with Stephen Marks, the athletic director at the Ashland High School, and talking about the fall sports season that is about to happen. We also have one around the town stop at the Pinewood Derby that was part of and for Troop 3001 here in Ashland. Of course, we have our select board update for the meeting that happened on March 3rd as well. So stay with us as I bring you Around the Clock. Welcome back to Around the Clock. We have one around the town stop for you. This was a virtual Pine Derby event that happened. A big thank you to Michael Suarez for sending us this footage, and thank you to Ryan Turncliffe for being the play-by-play announcer for this event. It was virtual Pine Derby. The scouts made their cars and then submitted them, and they were at home watching as the Pine Derby event was happening. We are here with Kieran Ferguson, one of the winners of this year's Pinewood Derby. Kieran, welcome to Around the Clock.
Hi.
So Kieran, first, how old are you?
I am 11 years old.
Okay,
I am in 5th grade.
5th grade at the Mendez. Is this your first Pinewood Derby?
Well, no. I started scouts in the wolf. So it goes wolf, bear, maybe something else in Libra. I can't really remember, but all the times I have participated in it. Yeah.
And with the Pinewood Derby, I know you're supposed to make the car. Did you make it, and who helped you with it?
Well, I designed it. My dad helped me with it. This is it. Yeah, my dad helped me with it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And it was different this year because you weren't actually where the car was, were you?
No, they did it virtually, and and I was kind of glad I could watch it on the TV. Yeah.
And you were very excited when you won.
Yeah.
So what do you like best about the Pinewood Derby?
Well, I'm not really sure.
Do you enjoy designing the car? Do you enjoy making the car? Which part?
Well, I do. I really enjoy making the car. I really like watching the race.
And what number was your car?
It was number 29.
Number 29. Okay, great. Because we have some footage of the race that we're going to share with our viewers. So if we know which car was yours, great. And how many times did it actually race? Was there just one race, or were there multiple races?
I'm pretty sure every car raced 4 times.
Okay.
It was a lot shorter this year because there were a lot less races, and I actually was not very. Of course, I was surprised. But if it was a normal year, I would have been a lot more surprised because there weren't as many people participating in it. So yeah, I figured that I had better chances than all the other years I did it. So yeah.
Cool. Now you go on to a next level of racing, right? You won this one, and there's another race.
Yeah, so the first, second, and third winners of this one go on to the district level. Now, last year, I actually won 3rd place, but then COVID hit and they canceled the district.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So this year you're going to districts.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to find out how that goes for you. So make sure you let us know and see if we can get some footage of that race.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kieran. I know this was last minute, but thanks for coming on. Congratulations on your win, and good luck at districts.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye, Kieran.
Bye.
And that was our interview with Kieran Ferguson, the winner of the Pinewood Derby for Troop 3001. welcome to Around the Clock. Today we are speaking with Stephen Marks, the athletic director for the Ashland High School. Stephen, welcome back to Around the Clock.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been a few years. I think the last time we had you on for an official interview was when you started it in the job. How many years ago now?
This is my third year.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
The first year, I think, was a lot of learning for you, but the last year has been some more learning.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, it's been fantastic, and the last 2 years we've been throwing a bunch of curveballs, right, between Triple E and COVID and everything. But
that's right.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
I had forgotten about the Triple E in the fall of 2019. That's right. Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's been fun. Been learning for everybody.
So today we're going to start the conversation with what sports are you about to start playing at the high school, and what is it called?
Sure. Well, right now we started on February 22nd, what's called Fall 2 or the wedge season. And basically what happened is the MIA created, instead of typically when we had 3 seasons, this year there's 4. So this is the wedge season. They originally moved football and cheerleading into this wedge season. And then as the year went on, we added other sports to it. So we've got football, cheerleading, volleyball, indoor track, and swim and dive all going on right now.
Now, football and cheerleading would typically have been in the fall from August through November.
Correct. Yeah.
Swim and dive, is that normally during this time, or is that usually in winter?
That's usually during the winter, and volleyball is usually in the fall as well. So we moved that as a league. Yep.
Okay. We did see some footage of the high school football field being cleared of snow. What was that like to make sure that could happen so your football team could practice?
So I give all the credit. That's to the DPW, to Doug Small and his crew. They came in and not only cleared the field, but planned for it and figured out a way to get it done. And it was just awesome. They had big snowblower up there, usually the one that they use on the sidewalks. They got it up to the field. They cleared off the field. It took about 2 days. And the first day the football team was able to be out on the turf, which is awesome. So Thank you very much to the DPW.
Great. How many students are participating in football this year?
This year we have 90 kids registered for football. So
wow.
I think it may be the largest year that we've ever had. And it's not all that surprising, to be honest, for 2 reasons. Number one, the success that the team has had, obviously coming off last year's Super Bowl win. And then also, which is really cool because it's this 4th and kind of wedge season, we have some student athletes that typically play a sport in the fall that haven't had an opportunity to play football. So we've got some soccer players, some cross country runners, and so it's nice. It's just added to the numbers. It's good.
How many of this team are from the Super Bowl team?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the exact number of returners, but last year we had a very large senior class, if you remember. So
yes,
we have, I'd say, 15 to 18 kids that are returners that got some playing time last year. So coach is excited about it, and they're in good shape.
So how is the shortened seasons, because we saw it with girls and boys basketball for the winter season, and now this short season, will they still have playoffs? Will they still have a Super Bowl? I mean, how does that work?
That's a good question. So they will not. So the MIAA has not sponsored any tournaments this year so far. We'll see what happens this spring. But really, the goal is just opportunity across the board. So, we're getting in as many games as we can within the Tri-Valley League, and we've been keeping all games within the league. We haven't been playing anybody outside. Mm-hmm. There's no tournament. There's no Super Bowl. There's nothing. And this is what's so great about athletics. This is kids just playing to be out there and compete, right? It's unfortunate that there's nothing, the no carrot at the end and looking for a tournament, but the kids are just so happy to be out and playing. So it's really just all about opportunity.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to speak with the captains of your girls' varsity basketball team, and they said that you and their coaches are really pushing that it's just for fun and just getting the opportunity to play. So that was really cool to hear. So how are you working, the different times and the different seasons and fitting all in? I know swimming is being done in a different way. How is swimming being done?
So swimming is, well, they're always off-site. So typically we swim at Keefe Tech, but the Keefe Tech pool is not available to us. So anyway, we
Oh,
moved over to Longfellow and Natick. And so they're practicing over there, and then their meets are actually going to be done virtually. So hypothetically, if we're swimming against Holliston on Friday, our team would be swimming at our pool, they would be swimming at their pool. We'd make sure that we had officials at both places, and then we'd match up the times afterwards. So,
wow.
yeah, that's just to make sure everybody, safe as possible.
Wow. And
Yeah.
okay. And so now you're also, as you're doing fall too, which is what it's called, you're getting ready for the spring season. What will spring season be bringing us?
So that's to be determined right now. We're waiting on sort of the MIA to come out with what the spring season is going to look like. There's a potential to have tournaments in the spring. I can tell you that everybody on the state level and the athletic directors and everything, we are doing everything that we possibly can, hoping that numbers keep going in the right direction to offer the spring athletes the most amount of games and potential for tournament that we can, because they had their whole season canceled last year. So,
Right.
if we can do that, we will. But yeah, we've got our normal spring. Right now, we're on track to start all of our normal spring sports on April 26th is the first day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dealing with COVID and all these changes, what has been for you as the athletic director? What are you dealing with the most? Is it the kids? Is it the MIA? Where are you spending your time to help manage all of this?
That's a great question. I'm not spending my time at home. I can tell you that. You know, it's across the board. I think that every day is like putting on an event and a play, and there's a lot of variables that we're going through. And I've told my coaches and that typically when I'm in the gym or out the field, I'm not even really a lot of times watching the actual sport. I'm making sure that the hand sanitizer is in the right spot, that we have the wipes that we need, and taking care of all of the extracurricular stuff, so to speak. And I also have to give a huge shout out to our athletic trainer, Amy Mendoza, who's done a fantastic job making sure that all protocols are being followed. But my time is spent almost 24 hours a day thinking about how we can continue to offer these opportunities for the kids.
And how are the kids handling all this? I know you're saying that they're playing more for fun than the carrot at the end, but how are they handling this, especially these seniors who have been playing for years and it's their last year?
Yeah, well, just because there's no tournament, yes, it's fun, but I can tell you our teams are still competing and still, pushing hard and all that. These kids are just amazing. The way that they have handled everything, in school, and then, extending that to the athletic fields and the gyms, they are great. Like, very rarely do I have to say, put a mask on or pull a mask up, they just do it. They've adapted very, very easily, I guess I would say. And the seniors, yeah, I think they are certainly disappointed that there's no tournament, but I think they also appreciate the fact that, they're getting the opportunity to play. If you had asked me in August if I thought that we would have gotten in as many competitions as we have this year, I would have probably said I don't think so. So all in all, we're doing well, and the kids are fantastic.
Good. Well, it's always great to hear when, as faculty and coaches, you can really be there for our kids and get these sports going and let them enjoy and really participate in their sports. What has been the most gratifying thing in dealing with all of this that you've seen?
The most gratifying thing, hands down, is just seeing the kids after a game and seeing them, with their teammates and with other, Tri-Valley League opponents. They just finished competing, and, they finished, everything went well, went smoothly, and they are on to the next day. And it happens often. So it's great.
Well, Stephen, it's always a pleasure talking to you and hearing about what you're doing with our student athletes. And I guess, that's part of the thing that we have to remember is that they are students, they are there to learn, but as athletes, it's what helps them get through their days for many of them.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I would be remiss if I did not thank WACA-TV for all of the help and the coverage and everything of all of our sports, because without spectators, or without many spectators, WACA has been able to get the games online for everybody to see. So thank you guys very much. And thank you for having me on the show.
You're very welcome, and it's a true partnership. So we work with you to support what you're doing and make sure parents can see what their kids are doing.
Certainly.
Well, Stephen, thank you. We look forward to maybe a follow-up at the end of the year to see how things went, and certainly as you start preparing for spring season and as we hear what MIAA says, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you and students out on the fields in the spring.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stephen. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye.
And we'll be back with more Around the Clock. Thanks to Stephen for talking to us about the current sports situation at the Ashland High School. Hello and welcome to the Select Board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, March 3rd. We started our board meeting in executive session, reviewing some executive session minutes that were then released in general session. When we started at 7 p.m., we had an appointment to the Stormwater Committee. We appointed Preeti Sriraj, who is has some great background and is joining our Stormwater Committee. We had a consent agenda with various items, including those executive session minutes, as well as the resignation of 2 members. We lost Rob St. Germain from the Stormwater Advisory Committee, and we thanked him for his service. And we also lost Marty Ring from the Conservation Restriction Working Group. Both of those gentlemen are stepping down to take care of some other stuff. They have not gone away because they are both still on other committees. We then went into old and new business. We had a very favorable response from the Energy Siting Board. So we are now into some new procedural information about Eversource with some new hearings that will be coming forward and some new evidence. And if you want the full detail on that, you can go to this full select board meeting and watch that section. We discussed the status of our Boston Athletic Association grants with no marathon this spring. We will most likely not be opening up our spring grant round. We discussed the Ashland Lions Regatta that's happening on March 27th. The Lions are selling little boats for $5 that you can submit and have your boat and see if it wins the race. We then review and approved a letter that we're going to be sending to our state senator regarding approval and support to the governor, asking him to have that the MBTA advisory board help make appointments to the MBTA committees. We discussed Robert Hill Way, which is a property up off of Independence Lane. There was going to be 2 phases, but phase 2 will not be going forward, and they will be returning that property to the town. So at our next meeting, we're going to be discussing that, what needs to be done, and if we want to do anything with it. Annual town meeting, we have officially moved to Saturday, June 12th, most likely to be held outdoors on the football field, but make sure you pay attention to that and schedule June 12th so you can attend upcoming town meeting. Because not only will it be the budget, but some other items that have been pushed off of the previous town meetings because of COVID. We then reviewed, considered, and voted the response to 3 open meeting law violations that Steve Morgan had put toward the select board. Some of it was not specific enough about certain agenda items, and we have submitted our response to those. Some we have agreed that we need to be a little bit more open, but some was about timing of meeting minutes. We then went into our priority project update, starting with the Rail Transit District. The dog park has gotten a $25,000 Stanton grant to help with the design and engineering, so that will be moving forward. UGC is before the Planning Board and the Zoning Board to do their permitting so that they can start their project, so things are starting to move on the Rail Transit District. Downtown, We are working with Eversource to finalize work to do the downtown undergrounding of utilities and then move the construction forward with that. Public Safety and Mendez, they're both in process of reviewing developers and contractors, and hopefully shovel will be in the ground for both of those projects, one in April and one a little bit later in the year. Warren District and Valentine Estate. Warren District, we're looking at CPC potentially to help with the funding of the rebuilding of the Warren barn that had to be demolished because it had basically fallen down. And the Valentine Estate, we will be getting one more update from the committee as we determine how to move forward with the Valentine Estate projects. Route 126 is moving forward. You'll see work going on. They're cutting down some trees. It'll be a 2 to 3 year project, and we will be having an update from the state in more detail, hopefully on our next show. Town manager report, we heard from Ed Berman, who was at our meeting. We want to congratulate him on winning the Mary Mortensen Award that was awarded to him at the last Board of Health meeting. COVID, we are still working trying to get vaccines. Fiscal 22 budget, which believe it or not, is coming up soon. Michael has been working with Jim Adams to look at the school needs as well as the town needs, and we'll be hopefully bringing that forward. Definitely it will be at the spring town meeting. We wrapped up a little bit after 9:30 after various board reports, and that was the meeting for Wednesday, March 3rd. Thanks for watching the Select Board Update. Well, that wraps up another episode here of Around the Clock. Thank you for watching. A big thank you to Stephen Marks for coming on and talking about the fall sports, as well as just some of the issues that he and his athletes have been dealing with due to COVID. We appreciated his shout out to WACA for the partnership that happens between the athletes and WACA so that spectators can be watching even though they're not in the gym. Also, a big thank you and shout out to Kieran Ferguson for joining us and sharing with us his win at the recent Pinewood Derby. As always, if you have a story that you'd like to share with us here at Around the Clock, make sure you reach out to us either through WACA or through our Facebook page. Stay warm. Spring is on its way. It's only a few short weeks away. Thanks for watching this episode of Around the Clock. Make sure you stay safe, wear your mask, and get vaccinated when you can.